Alrighty, guys, we are back for another episode of the Tacho Show, and if you recall, yesterday I put out a video talking about the Hero Rises banner that we got this year. Now, obviously it's a very good banner. We've got 4 units here color sharing on green, but I don't really think you can afford to be summoning on units that already released. Given the state of the game right now and given how insane power creep is, you're better off just spending your orbs on units that have just released as opposed to units that released a while ago. So that is my take on that. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a tier list on all of the different types of banners that they release during the year and which ones I think are actually worth saving your orbs for and which ones are the best to be going in on. So we're going to be looking at banner consistency here, which banners have consistently released the most powerful units, the best aging units, and so on and so forth, including skill fodder and things of the like. So why don't we start things off with the Christmas banner. I'm going to go ahead and plop the Christmas banner all the way up into S tier. And of course, we have Christmas Lissa as our icon for Christmas. I could have easily used something from this year's banner or such and such, but I don't think any Christmas banner was as impactful on the game's lifespan as the very first one. Because, of course, it introduced Bold Fighter and Vengeful Fighter, 2 skills that were not power creeped for some time. I mean, the amount of value on Bold Fighter was so huge because there was no null follow-up at the time, and it was like having 2 really good passives built into one. Heavy Blade was a thing, but it wasn't like super common, and it also had the condition where you had to win the attack check. Bold Fighter was like, nah, screw that shit. You just get your special acceleration, and you get a guaranteed follow-up all in one. So, for quite some time, like, speed was a completely irrelevant stat. Because of Bold Fighter and, like, Vengeful Fighter, it was better to just get guaranteed follow-ups as opposed to, like, getting a true follow-up and then running null follow-up, which didn't exist at the time. So, the first Christmas banner was insane. Of course, we saw the Christmas banner this year, which was one of the stupidest banners ever. I can pull it up real quick, I guess. Might as well. I have the wiki open so we can just quickly reference some things. So where was this year's Christmas banner? We already know what it was, but yeah, here we go. Holiday lessons. What a lesson that was. These 4 nonsensical units, insane fodder, insane abilities. The Christmas banner is just one of those that you can always feel safe about summoning on. Okay, next up, we're going to also toss the Brave banner into the S tier. Now, the Brave banner is one of the few banners that we get to vote on. We get to vote for which units we want. Same like the Hero Rises banner where we vote for the units. But the Brave banner feels a little bit more special, and it's always one of the most hyped banners of the year because we get to see the characters in special costumes. Maybe they have special themes relating to other characters that they have been allied with or related to in some way or form. So the Brave Heroes banner, I feel like only 2 years were they not like that crazy, which was year 2 and year 3, at least on release. Nothing from Brave 2 was that crazy. Like, we had Hector and we had also Celica. I think Celica was surprisingly the best one of the batch because at least she had Brave Lion and you could mix her up with her weapon. You could give her, like, Armor Smasher, which was pretty huge at the time. And getting the Brave attack let her bite through Wary Fighter. So, Celica was pretty good, at least at the time. Brave Hector got power crept very quickly, though. And it wasn't until his refine that he turned into the unkillable cockroach that he was. But, yeah, basically, like, the Brave banner, for the most part, with the exception of year 2 and 3, the Brave banners have been very consistent. And also, they get refined annually. So, even if the units aren't as crazy in the current meta, the last batch are up for refines every year. So this year, it's insane to think about, but this year we're getting refines for freaking Brave Seliph and Brave Crom that people still use actively. So that's going to be pretty wild to see. I chose Edelgard for the icon here because, of course, I mean, even when she got her, even prior to the refine, people were still using her. She was a pretty good near save option. So after the refine, that just shot her value through the roof. I could have used Brave Dimitri, but the thing about him was that he wasn't exceptional until his refine. Same thing with, like, Brave Ike. He was okay on release, but it wasn't until his refine that he dominated the game. So there you guys go for the Brave banner. Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and grab the Ninja banner. So we have Ninja Lin as the one who started it all. Ever since this unit, they always release a Ninja Duo hero that has the Duo skill button that lets them act again after they've already attacked in a turn. A very, very powerful effect, especially in pretty much Arena, where it's like the strongest Arena Duo skill you can get. Just a free dance, where it's only a 4-on-4 fight, so if you're able to take out 2 of the opponents in one turn, you're looking pretty good. So the Ninja banner is always very strong. The one year where people were kind of opposed to the Ninja banner was the one when we got Lake Jarn and the rest of those guys. It was kind of a slow banner. Like, the units weren't particularly fast. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Maybe I should search specifically for Lake Jarn. Let's see if we can pull it up that way. Okay, I might have gone to the wrong year. Hold on. Let's go over here. We can find it pretty quickly over here, right? So, yeah, here we go. This was the Ninja banner from that year. It was 2022. We had the Cherche, we had Heath, Lake Jarn, and the Ninja Camilla. Ninja Camilla was really good, actually. And she's still kind of really good right now, given some of the passives you can give to her and things like that. Why don't we make this a little bit bigger? Okay, I didn't mean to lose my place while making it bigger, but yeah. So, really, the Lei Jarn was kind of slow, so people didn't like her. She wasn't able to quad like the other previous Ninja units could. I don't think that's a big deal, because she was very tanky, too. Like, if you had her at +10 and you ran her in Arena, it was really hard to kill her. Like, even with melee attacks, it was hard to get rid of her. So, this Lei Jarn was still pretty good, at least in my opinion, regardless of what anyone says. And we've seen, of course, the Ninja banner is very consistent. Ninja Sanaki is insane. Zelgius is really good. Like, the Ninja banner we got this year was crazy. It also had Heather on it with the introduction of Ruse 4s, which pretty much dunked all over this unit down here. So, yeah, there we go with the Ninja banner. And the final banner I'm going to have in the S tier is going to be the Valentine banner. Now, what's very good about the Valentine banner is that it always releases during the anniversary. So, I feel like the special anniversary banner that we get with all the new units that are going to, like, break the meta open are going to come in Valentine's. We've seen it before. Like, the Valentine's banner is one of the most disgusting banners ever. Let's just quickly take a look back to Duo Lift release. Okay, so yeah, the Duo Lift Valentine banner included both of the save skills being introduced. It was only a 2-color focus, and then Duo Lift was the end of Brave Ike's reign. This was one of the most meta-impactful banners that ever released. Like, it's insane if you look back and think about how crazy this banner was. But also, I mean, you guys already know, the recent Valentine banner with Leon and Mur on it was pretty crazy too. Like, these two are just insanely meta-relevant units. What else was pretty good from Valentine's? We can quickly scroll through. Of course, Duo Crom. Can't forget about this guy. A unit that aged way past his release, because then he got score bonuses after we got tier 4 B skills. He has that 500 SP assist. He's got a duo skill. Like, this guy, even right now, people still use him. He's not as good, but, like, people still use him, which is a testament. We have, of course, the Duo Elise, who's got that crazy duo button with the dominance effect, and then she's like the much-needed staff buff that we wanted with staff specials and tier 4 Wrathful Staff and Dazzling Staff and things like that. She really was the one that opened the floodgates. So the Valentine banner is pretty consistent and pretty powerful. Okay, next up in the A tier, I'm going to go ahead and add the November Legendary / Mythic banner. We have Atri there as our icon, and the reason why is because Atri was really dominant for quite some time. In Summoner Duels especially, where there was no Kanto control at the time. So, like, Atri could fly in, attack something, and then Kanto herself out of the way. Her B skill was, like, Brash Assault 4 before Brash Assault 4, where it gave her a guaranteed follow-up and also augmented DR damage. So, pretty good. But what was really good about these November Legendary and Mythic banners is that we typically get 2 heroes on it. It's always a special occasion because it's the end of the book that's going on currently. So, like, at the end of the book, we got Veronica and Emblem, who color shared, and both were insanely meta. We had Atri and Thor, who were both really meta, and they both color shared. Before that, we had Triandra and Freya, who color shared, and they were both pretty good. At least Triandra was. Like, Freya, looking back now, Freya was a pretty bad release, because she got power crept immediately the next month where they introduced special slot mythic heroes. So Freya does not grant access to slot 6 on offense. And then as an offensive mythic hero, she wasn't really that good anyway, because she didn't offer any support. She was trying to do all the work herself. So Freya wasn't the craziest, but typically the November Legendary Mythic banner is really good, and it has 2 new heroes on it, so that's always nice, and most of the time they do color share. This year they didn't with Kavasser and Gulveg, but it's perfectly fine because those 2 units are both really good. Okay, next up we're going to go ahead and grab the New Year banner, which is also a very consistent banner. It seems like every single time the New Year hero, like Duo at least, is always going to be something meta. Like this guy, for example, Duo Alphonse was one of the best units for a very long time when he came out. He had a really nice Duo button. Also, Duo Peony was really good. She was one of the best dancers. Still is one of the better dancers. I can't call her the best anymore, but she is still a pretty solid dancer. And with access to all the flying skills that we got now, she's, like, insane. And, of course, Duo Dagger, who is still... She's kind of on her way out a little bit now, thanks to this unit and the remix for the regular Dagger. But Duo Dagger, giving the whole team Pathfinder, is so stupid. Then we also had Duo Asker, who's really good, and then Duo Satyr from this year. So every single year, it seems like the duo for New Year is always a relevant unit. Okay, next up, we're also going to go ahead and grab the Bride banner. So, yeah, this banner, it seems like it's a little hit or miss. Sometimes the units are just whacked, but for other times, it seems like it's a more tame release of a banner. More so in the earlier years before, like, units were nuts. The power creep was insane. Like, when they used to release these seasonal heroes with inheritable weapons, for example, like Bride Cordelia, at the time, I remember, like, Bride Cordelia. Let me pull that up. Hold on. Just to have a bit of a laugh. Yeah, so this was the original Bride banner. Look at this. Does anyone even have Bride Charlotte? Does anyone have a copy of her? Yeah, she's got to be, like, one of the rarest units ever. But Bride Cordelia, we were going nuts because she had 35 attack and speed as her bases. And that was, like, the highest combo for attack and speed for a bow unit. So she was pretty good, at least if you decked her out with good inheritable skills. But her inheritable weapon wasn't so great, and same could be said for, like, all of the inheritable weapons back in the day. However, of course, the Bride banner has introduced some insane bombs, like Bride Catria, Bride Micaiah, both of which were pretty much the best units on their release. And so on and so forth. The Bride banner is a pretty consistent banner for the most part. So we've got that in the A tier. Okay, next up, we're going to go ahead and grab the second Summer banner. So there are always 2 Summer banners released every year. We get Summer Banner 1 and then Summer Banner 2. I feel like Summer Banner 2 has been a little bit more consistent. We got Duo Thor on Summer Banner 2 of her year. We can go ahead and pull that up. These come out in July. So if we take a look over here, Duo Ymir, really good. We have also Summer Ivy, who introduced Soaring Guidance. We have the Summer Fiorm, who at the time was a really good God Sword. Not so much now, but, I mean, can't deny her impact on release. Summer Banner 2. Also, Xander from the original Summer Banner 2. This guy introduced Infantry Pulse, which was a mainstay on... Like, this was so ahead of its time, Infantry Pulse, that it lasted all the way up until, like, Aether Raids for quite some time. It didn't really get countered until, like, Pulse Smoke and things like that. We started getting effects to turn off pre-charged specials. But Infantry Pulse was huge for a while. Like, can't deny that, even though it's on the very first banner. One of the sickest inheritable skills. Okay, this one wasn't so crazy. Camilla, Lindy, Takumi, and Tiki, I don't recall any of them being, like, that big of a deal. Alright, then we had this one. Oh, this Lilina had Broadleaf Fan on release, which was an insane inheritable dagger. We were going for, like, Vantage close counter strats with Blades Homes and things like that. So Broadleaf Fan was actually very powerful at the time. I do remember that much. Okay, then this one over here had the Duo Byleth, who was a pretty meta unit for a while for Arena. All right, and then this one over here. This one wasn't the craziest. It didn't age like that much, but the Summer Shido was pretty good for some time. She didn't last very long, but she was on release pretty good. Summer Freya, if you had her at plus 10, was pretty good, but you had to have her at plus 10, and it didn't last that long either, like her reign of being super good. And then, of course, this one here when we got Duo Thor and Summer Niffle, who was surprisingly really effective. So that was a good banner. And then we come to the recent one now. So, yeah, I feel like in history, the Summer Banner 2 has been a little better than the Summer Banner 1. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to the beats here. And we might as well grab Summer Banner 1 since we're already talking about it. And let's go ahead and recap some of the things that came out for Summer Banner 1. Okay, so this one here in 2023 was pretty nuts. We got the Summer Ephraim, we got the Duo Shamir, and then Summer Shez. All of them are really nuts. So that was a good year for the Summer Banner 1. Okay, this one was a dud. This one was basically just Valor fodder, because this Robin and this Tiki had Valor skills to grind SP. So that was the only notable thing there. This one was also kind of a dud. Like, Tana was okay for a little bit, but she wasn't anything too special. All right, and this one over here, yeah, again, you can really see the difference in quality of the old banners versus the new ones. None of these units had perf weapons, I don't think. Maybe did Legjarn have a perf weapon? I don't believe she did. I think she had, like, Juicy Wave or something like that. What was it called? Oh, World Sea Wave. She did have a perf weapon. It had guaranteed follow-ups. It had built-in desperation. But, nah, man. She wasn't, like, winning any awards at the time outside of the artwork, which was very good. All right, what else did we have? Summer Banner 1. Oh, introduced Harmonic Heroes. So we had the Harmonic Mia on one of these Summer Banner 1s, which was pretty good. The rest of these units weren't too crazy. This Selena was okay because she had built-in no follow-up. I think I ran her on my calf line defense for a little bit. But, yeah, this Mia was pretty effective. She had a lot of DR on initiation, which was not common at all. And certainly there was no way to deal with DR at the time. And then this one over here wasn't too crazy. Like, Summer Hilda was okay. Her isolation duo skill is pretty good, but it's also pretty niche as well. It's not like you can always get that to activate. She introduced odd or even recovery, which was nice, but like a good unit, but nothing as groundbreaking as some of the stuff we've seen on the other Summer Banners. And then this one was just an anomaly because they decided to toss all the house leaders on here. Even Claude was a really good unit despite being a demote on this banner. And then, of course, Summer Edelgard, who aged pretty gracefully. Summer Dimitri, who was pretty good. Although I do remember there being stiff competition for Axe Calves when he came out. So he was really good, but like there was a lot of competition in that Axe Calf slot. So he didn't stand out as crazy like the Edelgard did. And then we already covered this recent one. So there we go for Summer Banner 1. Okay, next up we're going to go ahead and grab the Desert Banner. Why not? So the Desert Banner also comes out in January at the same time. It's weird that we get two seasonal banners in January because the New Year banner also happens at that time. But I guess it's because the New Year banner counts as being a December banner. So they kind of get away with it. They're allowed to drop like double seasonals in January. Now, the Desert Banner has not always been around. It wasn't around in the first couple of years, but ever since its introduction, it has been pretty strong. So we can go ahead and quickly take a look. Also, back here, like back in the day, this banner slot was a bath time banner. One of the least liked banner in the history of the game. Okay, where is the first Desert Banner, though? That's what we're looking for. Okay, so here we go. The first one was the Plegian banner. So we had the Harmonic Dorothea, who was a pretty good unit. Katarina was okay, too. She had, like, the Plegian weapon effects were really good on this banner. I remember that. So they had some nice inheritable weapons. All right, then the next year for the Hitari banner, we had Azura and Carla, who were both pretty dominant. Carla was an insane nuke at the time, and then Azura was probably the best dancer. Because there were a lot of really good units from Fates that you could pop her duo skill to dance with. Then the next year after that, we had the Caden Lindy, who was really good. This Byleth was a really nice demote. Nino was a pretty solid unit as well, although she didn't age as gracefully, but like Lindy is still used even right now. So that was good. And then the most recent one, we've got the Altina from, what was this, Nabata, and then also Igreen. Both of these are insanely relevant units right now, so there we go with the Desert Banner. Could I put it high? I feel like maybe we could even have it in here, because, like, the Desert Banner has been consistent ever since its release, so I think it has been more consistent than Summer 1. We might as well have it in A tier. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and grab the Fallen Banner. This one might be a little controversial, like, why is this banner so low, seemingly? And the reason why is because of consistency. Yes, Fallen Edelgard was a nightmare on release, but typically the Fallen Hero banners aren't that insane. We're going to have to jump through a little bit of hoops to even pull up the Fallen banners, because those are not seasonal. How do we want to do this? Okay, so let's head over here. We're going to have to grab regular 5 stars and special rates, because some of them have been turned into special rates by now, and then we'll go by May, which is when the Fallen banners drop. Okay, so where is the first one? Okay, so here we go with this Fallen Heroes banner. I feel like there was one before this, right? The one that had Fallen Robin and also Fallen Harden, which brought Vengeful Fighter and Bold Fighter into the regular pool outside of the Christmas banner. So that was a really impactful banner at the time. Now, this banner over here, this Fallen banner, this one sucked. Like Berkut, Korin, Tiki, Marita, I don't recall any of these units being that relevant. Maybe Tiki for scoring, but like the rest of them were kind of sucky. All right, what else did we have from Fallen banners? Okay, this was a hype one. When we got Ike, Julia, and Leon, this one was nuts. Ike was legitimately one of the best 8th Raids offense units, because the infantry school was very prevalent, and then he had the unity effect built in. So he was pretty sick. Julia was pretty sick. Leon was pretty sick. Like, this was a good Fallen banner. Typically, though, it's not consistent, as I've brought up. Like, this one here, Edelgard was really good, but Dimitri's weapon kind of sucked, and the 2 Morgans were just, like, whatever. This one over here was also kind of whatever. Like, Rhea, Ninian, Lilith, Gustav. I remember thinking Rhea was not as crazy as Fallen Edelgard was. So, like, the year after, they still were trying to play catch-up with Fallen Edelgard, which is insane. And then the year after that, like, this one was nuts. We got Byleth and Maria. The main issue with the Fallen banner for me is just consistency. It's not always, like... it's a hit or miss kind of thing. Sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's amazing. All right, and then we have also in the B tier, we're going to go ahead and grab the Halloween banner, which also I think suffers from some consistency issues. It's usually hit or miss with this one. We've had some relevant units before, like the Halloween Myrrh, who was a pretty good scoring armor for the time. Obviously, the Harmonic Anna, who was still a very fantastic unit to use right now. What else did we get from Halloween? I'm trying to think. Let's see here. Okay, so Halloween also introduced Duo Hector, I guess. So he was the first unit with a Duo skill, which was pretty cool. Duo Duma was also pretty cool for the time, but I guess we can give him a pass. He was pretty good, and he's still kind of okay right now, but not compared to like some of the armors that we have at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and plop the Halloween banner in the B tier. And is that everything? Okay, we have one more banner. Now, this one is kind of hard to describe because these 2 right here are a seasonal theme that always switches around. Like the Wind Tribe banner and the Flame Tribe banner, it wasn't always that. Like, sometimes the theme switches. We've had the Scion banner in this slot and things like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to separate these 2 themes by September and August. And let's see here. I have a little cheat sheet pulled off to the side so I can, like, reference some points. Some bullet points here. Okay, so which one is the one that I'm putting in B tier? I believe that's the Random Theme 2, which is the one that had Wind Tribe. Yeah, that's the September one. So that's this one right here, the one that had Wind Tribe Dagger. So some notable releases in this time slot. If we go ahead and take a look, we've had, for the themes for this one, we've had the Dancer banner prior, we've had the Scion banner, and then now it's become the Wind Tribe and Flame Tribe banner. But some notable units that came out from those banners are, let's take a look here. Okay, so we've had the Performing Arts Azura, who was one of the best dancers at the time. Duo Sigurd, really good dancer even right now. We've had Flame Tribe Lyn, we've had the Harmonic Tana, Wind Tribe Claude, Wind Tribe Dagger, and then, of course, Duo Kagero. So, pretty consistent banner, even though the theme is always up in the air. And then finally, we come down to the C tier where we're going to go ahead and plop the baby banner in there. This banner has fallen on some hard times. I remember the first one was hella hype. It felt really retro to be getting like Baby Marth, Baby Kata, Baby Merrick, and things like that. And those units were all really good on release. But ever since that first one, I feel like it's always been a miss. They haven't really gotten it right. The one with Baby Ike wasn't very good. All those units immediately aged as soon as they came out because just competition was so high at the time for like the God Sword slot and things of that nature. Also, the year before that, when we had Erica and the Sacred Stones babies, they were not very good at all. Well, I shouldn't say not very good, but just not very relevant. And no one really cared too much about them. So we've got the baby banner down here. Also, it's my worst liked theme out of all of them. Just babies? Like, come on. What is this, Rugrats? What is this, Nickelodeon? Come on. We don't need a baby banner. All right, then we have the spring banner, which is also pretty inconsistent. I feel like the one year where the spring banner was, like, super relevant was only the year where we got Sonia and Maria. Every other year, I mean, this year it was okay. We had Chloe, and we had also Fram and things like that, but the real time where the spring banner was super juicy was the one with Sonia. She was very relevant for her ability to warp in 2 spaces, and that was before Guidance 4 and Soaring Guidance. Also, her duo button's really good, so I've got her there, but in past years, the spring banner wasn't really that crazy. And then finally, we have Random Seasonal Theme 2, or 1. I guess this is the August banner, right? So on this banner, we have the Tea Time. Hold on, let me just reference the different themes we've gone through here. So we've had, this slot has been a Dancer banner, it's been a Pirate banner, it's been a Thief banner, and it's been a Tea Time banner. So it seems like they can't get a handle on what sort of theme they want it to be. So it's always jumping around. And as far as relevant units that have released on it is concerned, we've had Tea Time Lysithea, the Harmonic Ira, we've had Duo Nina, who was pretty good. We've had also Duo Hinoka, we've had Pirate Tabarn, and then we've had the Hoshidian Summer Micaiah, which was a Dancer banner. So, yeah, this banner, the main issue with this one is that it comes out right before the Brave banner, which is always much better. So, it's kind of hard to really suggest, like, people save Orbs for this or summon on this when the Brave banner is literally right around the corner. So, there you guys go. That is my consensus, my tier list for all of the different types of seasonal banners and the 2 relevant regular tier banners, the Fallen banner and the Brave banner, as well as the 1 special legendary banner, the End of Book banner. So, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments section down below. What do you think about all these different types of banners, and which ones do you like saving for the most? And this is your boy Tacho signing out. So, take care, fellas, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.